Hey guys, little plug, if you want to stock up on some G Fuel before Modern Warfare releases, now is the best time to do so to make sure you are fully prepared for launch nights. If you are looking to snag a new tub, restock your favorite flavor, or just try out a new starter pack, be sure to use code IMMORTAL at checkout to get a nice little discount on your entire order. And now on to the regular video. So it's really no secret that Call of Duty is not what it used to be. Ever since the golden days of, say, MW2 up through Black Ops 2, the franchise just hasn't felt like it's had the same hype behind each new release. And more recently with Infinite Warfare, World War II, and BO4, things seem to be on the decline even more, especially later on into the year, as the games just can't compete with some of the others out there, in terms of longevity and post-launch support consistency. But Modern Warfare looks to change all of that. It's clear from the trailers that we've seen so far that a lot of time and effort has been put into the game so far. And with so many leaks coming out right now about the game's post-launch content, it seems like this game is going to be a much more complete and also a much more polished product. So today, I wanted to break down a handful of things that can help Modern Warfare revive or save the Call of Duty franchise. But before we jump into all of that, if you are new here, I am always covering the latest news and intel within the world of Call of Duty, so if you are into that sort of stuff, feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when a new video goes live. And of course, if you enjoyed this one, let me know by dropping a like rating on it, as it does really help out. And now let's get into how exactly COD MW can revive the franchise. Now for this, I've compiled a list of 7 key things that I think Modern Warfare needs to do or needs to focus on if they want to break the standard COD cycle this year of the game's longevity falling off severely after just a few months of the game being out. And the first major thing that I think they need to do is make ping king, aka focus on connection-based matchmaking over everything else. If you played the beta back in September, you probably saw the whole controversy surrounding skill-based matchmaking. Some people think it existed, others didn't, but regardless of which side you're on, at the end of the day, the biggest fact of the matter is that neither argument can be proven to be 100% true, since Infinity Ward and Activision have not commented on the situation. However, without a doubt, the right way to go about things, at least in my opinion, is to have any and all matchmaking emphasis on connection. Connection should always take priority over skill. Now, while obviously competitive matches make the game a bit more engaging in some cases, having ranked-based matchmaking in its own separate playlist is a thing for a reason. It's been said that Modern Warfare will have a ranked mode of some sort, so if that's already going to be a thing at some point, I really see no reason why skill or rank should have any impact in public matchmaking. Ping should always be king, and finding the best lobby with the most stable connection should always be the biggest priority when it comes to playing the game online. Then, the next big thing that I think IW needs to focus on this year is distributing equal attention across all game modes that will be receiving post-launch content. Multiplayer is obviously the biggest of these 3 major modes when it comes to post-launch additions, but rumors have it that we'll end up seeing some Spec Ops DLC and maybe even some campaign DLC this year too. So with that, in the case of giving players more content, and even in the sense of fixing bugs and adjusting things as needed, I would love to see all of our major modes receive attention throughout the year. And I bring this up because equal content distribution and even equal attention between modes is not really something that we saw a ton of in Black Ops 4. Blackout was easily the first priority when it came to new DLC and new updates, and as a Blackout player mainly, I was totally cool with that. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed seeing the mode get updated quite a bit, but at the same time, I'll acknowledge how time and time again, multiplayer and especially zombies were put on the back burner, and the modes often seemed just overlooked in some cases, as we would see new content come to part of the game, whereas another part would just be left untouched for long periods of time. Keeping each little niche community happy, I think, should be a huge goal for Infinity Ward, in seeing that multiplayer, Spec Ops, potentially Battle Royale, and also potentially the campaign aren't being looked over when it comes to new content, is yet another thing that I think would keep the game alive for a longer amount of time. Now, in my opinion, Modern Warfare also needs to have plenty of long-term grinds available, as the hardcore fans this past year in Black Ops 4 had a pretty compact list of larger grindable objectives. It was pretty much limited to Dark Matter in each one of the main modes, getting Prestige Master, and also 100% completing the modes if that was something you were into. There was, unfortunately, no hero gear, there really weren't that many community contracts outside of the Grav contract, and sure, the tiers were there, but those weren't really a true grind compared to some of the other things that I just listed. So some more exclusive grind-worthy objectives I think would be yet another thing that keeps players busy and engaged with the game all throughout the year. And coinciding with having a lot of things that are earnable naturally through playing, I also think there needs to be a huge emphasis on the purchasable items also being obtainable through gameplay as well. Obviously, Black Ops 4 was a case of microtransactions running the show, as you couldn't earn the cool outfits in the shop, or the new reactive camos, or even the special orders that debuted there, and instead that was all solely dependent on COD points. This year though, I really hope that if we see a shop-like feature, which I'm sure we will, that there's also a currency that can be used in-game to buy the items too. I think World War II did it perfectly with the collection system and the armory credits that could be used to acquire the game's bonus content, and honestly, I would love to see a similar system return here in MW. Moving on, something that Infinity Ward has already done a great job of so far this year is being open and vocal with their communication and interaction with the player base. All throughout the beta, the devs were talking to the community, relaying update information and giving sneak peeks of what was to come. And that community interaction is key to keeping the attention of the player base. When BO4 launched, Treyarch started off being very interactive on Reddit and Twitter and whatnot, and slowly but surely became more and more inactive, which ultimately led to a lot of players also becoming inactive on the game itself. So, keeping up the frequent community posts and staying active on social media is going to be a very big help when it comes to keeping fans excited for new updates and content. Speaking of frequency and content, frequent content updates are yet another thing that the game needs to help revive the COD franchise. Prior to Black Ops 4 releasing, Treyarch said the game was going to be the most updated Call of Duty title to date, and the same thing has pretty much already been said about Modern Warfare this year. Now, Black Ops 4's updates normally consisted of playlist updates and shop refreshes, and those happened every single week. So technically, yes, the game is the most updated title in franchise history. However, with the amount of leaked content that has come out already for MW's DLC season, I feel like we could be seeing some pretty significant updates a lot more frequently than we did this past year with Black Ops 4, which is obviously something that kind of has become to be expected in the gaming scene nowadays. You can largely blame Epic Games for that, as Fortnite gets massive updates like every 10 days or so, and now everyone expects other devs to do the same in most cases. So just going with the trend of today's standards, frequent content updates are going to be necessary for keeping the game alive. Then finally, the last thing that I have on the list for today is keeping the game's meta diverse. And by this I mean allowing players to find competitive success with a variety of weapons. Throughout Black Ops 4, the main guns pretty much stayed the same all year long. We had the ICR and the Maddox as the main two assault rifles, and the SOG as the main SMG. That is a pretty basic meta, especially for an entire year for both public matches and for competitive players. So in my mind, the more diverse the meta is, the more entertaining gameplay is. One thing that always kept me more entertained on Blackout compared to multiplayer is that my loadout each game would be different, obviously because of the RNG within Battle Royale. Whereas in multiplayer, if I wanted to do well, I was using the same couple of weapons every single game, which just got a bit stale to me personally. If the meta varied a bit more though, and there were say 3 dominant ARs and 2 or 3 solid SMGs, and maybe a tactical rifle in there as well alongside anything else that one might deem fit, that is going to equate to gameplay not feeling nearly as stale later on into the year. So, all of that taken into consideration, that is how I think Modern Warfare can ultimately revive and/or save the Call of Duty franchise, and really keep players invested in it for far longer than what we have seen recently. And with all of that being said, that is effectively going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, give it a big old thumbs up as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you are new here to the channel and you want to stay on top of the latest things happening in the world of Call of Duty, Feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when a new video goes live. As always, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links can be found down in the description below, and once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.